So we're now going to stroll through the mini-bosses this Game Boy Color game had to offer. While there were a couple of exceptions, there were also a lot of originality in these fights, to my surprise. We're the only Triforce, I'm Owner 1, and this is the Oracle Ages mini-boss ranking. Now, if I see a boss reappear in some of the game, I'd like to see some differences. Unfortunately, that was not to be found in a fight with Smasher. This fight is exactly the same as the one from Link's Awakening. Pick up the ball and throw it back at him. That's all there is to it. Just a copy, and that's why it's at the very bottom. The mini-boss from the first dungeon in the game. Giant Guinea isn't really that bad. He's like a fat ghost, with 3 smaller ghosts around him. They stick themselves onto you, making you walk slower. If you manage to kill them, they will only reappear a bit later. It doesn't take that many sword hits until the Giant Guinea is dead, but the fight was fine. I mean, it was the first dungeon. In both of these Oracle games, you face the Great Moblin. Apparently, he's the exact same guy, and there's something more to him if you link the games together. I don't know, we haven't gotten the chance to try it out. Anyway, the fight is pretty simple. He's inside his own keep, not inside any of the 8 dungeons. He's got 2 smaller moblins in each corner beside of him that throw bombs, in addition to the big ones he throws himself. What you gotta do is to pick up the big bombs, dodge the smaller ones, wait until the bomb you're holding is about to blow up, and then throw it back at the Great Moblin. If you throw it too early, he'll just throw it back at you again. Simple fight, but kinda fun that he appears in both games. While he's got the same name as one of the bosses in Link's Awakening, and he is a fish, he's actually different. The anglerfish in Oracle Ages is now not even underwater, and he's jumping around. Weird, huh? The weak spot is just as obvious here as in Link's Awakening. But first, you have to deflate him and get him down to the ground by using the seed shooter to shoot scent seeds. After that, you can just slash your way to victory. Also, you'll probably have to use the Rock's Feather to jump around this place. It's kind of a weird fight, but it felt like a decent challenge. This surely was a funny one. It's like they used bottles from Banjo-Kazooie, switched out their regular glasses with shades, gave him a drill for a nose, and put him in Labrina. He's a mole with sunglasses, drilling his way underneath the sand. Just like he says at the beginning, as long as I'm on the ground, your attacks don't scare me. By that he means you can't hurt him while he's in the sand. That's why you gotta drag out the shovel and dig him up in order to attack him. It's nothing that special, he was just funny looking and the battle is somewhat fun too. This was an annoying little bastard. Like the Great Moblin, he also appears in both games and presents something in a linked game, but again, we didn't know anything about that. So, the fight in this game, as I said, is annoying. He threatens you, then he flies all around the room, most of the time outside of your screen. If you see him and move too close to him, he'll just fly further away. He always keeps a great distance, so in order to attack him, you have to charge up your sword for a spin attack. It's not easy to hit him, but when you manage to do so a couple of times, he'll split into 2 smaller bats which you have to attack using the Rock's Feather. It's annoying, yes, but it's also challenging. Swoop is a very weird looking mini-boss, and he's annoying too. He's got wings on his head which he uses to hover up in the air. Occasionally he'll try to bash you. If he misses, he creates a hole in the ground, and if you fall down, you have to get up and start the fight over again. Yes, it's pretty much the same thing as Moldorm from A Link to the Past. The moment he is at the ground is your chance to strike. He'll bounce around more after a few hits before he leaves the ground again, but that's when you know you're close to beating him. He's a fine mini-boss. When it comes to a mini-boss's appearance, the blue Stalfos gets a high score. He looks like death! Unfortunately, he's not. The fight is almost exactly like Aghanim from A Link Past. He's got the two types of attacks. The big ball is slashed back at him, aka the Dead Man's Volley, and the other attack that splits into 6 smaller balls. If you get hit by the big ball, you get transformed into a baby or something, and the blue Stalfos will teleport next to you and slash it with his scythe, which is awesome. When you do manage to hit him back with his own power, he'll turn into a bat for a few seconds, and that's when he's vulnerable. Even though this fight is a copy of Aghanim, only with a few changes, I just can't deny how awesome he's looking. Another badass looking mini-boss. The first place goes to Armas Warrior. This fight was pretty unique. He starts off telling about his mighty sword and shield before he throws his sword, which he never grabs again. It just spins around and follows you. You'll also notice quickly that he's invulnerable to your attacks because of his shield. So, the only thing that can break a mighty shield is a mighty sword. Since the sword follows you, you have to lead it to the Armas Warrior's shield. Do this 3 times, and it'll break along with the sword. Once it's unarmed, he'll charge at you, and all you have to do is to use your own sword. A few hits, and he's dead. Now, this boss can be real annoying because it's not always easy to get the sword to hit him. It doesn't really rely on your skill, but more on coincidence, as it can change directions from time to time. But this was still a unique mini-boss in my mind, and he also gets points for his appearance. So, what are your thoughts on the mini-bosses from Oracle of Ages? Perhaps you agreed to my list, and then liked this video? Maybe you even want to give a comment? Or perhaps you loved it so much that you want to subscribe? Your choice. Thanks for watching.